Good evening, Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered.
Let's get it popping.
I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, Democrat versus Republican. Who will win in the race for New York State Assembly, District 90, between Mike Breen and the incumbent, Nader Sayegh? Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending when you're watching. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I will be discussing the race that everyone seems to be talking about. That's the race between Mike Breen and Nader Sayegh. Mike Breen announced over the weekend that he will be running for Assembly, District 90, facing the incumbent, Nader Sayegh, Democrat. The showdown Yonkers is talking about. The race for Assembly between incumbent Nader Sayegh and Mike Breen. Who will constituents from District 90 choose? Does Mike Breen have a shot? Some say he doesn't. Defeating the incumbent, does he have a shot defeating the incumbent who has established deep ties with individuals who win lots of races for many reasons? Why does Breen feel like he'll win? Could it be all the talk of the red wave, right? All this Republican talk, red wave. Republicans are going to do good this election season. That's what everyone's talking about. Breen, currently a council member in district that is predominantly Republican. But what about Assembly District 90? On February 3rd, I don't know if many of you know this, 2022, the New York State Assembly approved the new state legislative district boundaries, the redistricting, 120 to 27. The same day, the state Senate approved the redistricting 43 to 20. And on the same day, Kathy Hochul signed the maps into law. Why is that important? Because it does go into effect this election year, this election season. So will they affect the elections? Why were they rushing? They did everything the same day. The Assembly, the Senate, and then Kathy Hochul just signed it into law that same day. So again, will the redistricting affect the elections? Will the mass migration, people just moving out of the state of New York by the, bus loads? Or what about the people just moving around in New York, largely out of New York City, up north, here into Westchester? How would that affect the elections, right? So the race between Breen and Sayegh, I guess we'll have to wait and see. The article recently, I started the wrong place. I do know what will affect them. I don't know if the redistricting will affect it, but I do know what will. And that's things like the recent article. I don't know if many of you saw it. I'm sure you have by now, in the Yonkers Tribune on Mike Breen and wife Patty Breen, right? Talking about quid pro quo, saying that Mike Breen has been milking the system, or I should say the city of Yonkers, and accusing Patty Breen of demanding a job for Mike if he were to lose to Nader Sayegh, right? The 90th district, I just want to let you guys give you a view of the map here, pretty much covers the entire Yonkers, about 98% of the city, from Beach Hill, northeast Beach Hill, across all the way into the Hudson. It even shows they're going into the Hudson, and down to just before Park Hill Avenue, Park Hill. I don't know if you can see that there. And it covers pretty much like I said, 98% of the Yonkers. So it covers the majority of his district. It does stop a bit before Jackson Avenue. So as far as, the people, the district, the people in the constituents in that district, it seems like he may have a chance, but I don't know if he does. Nader Sayegh is backed by Precision Strategies. Precision Strategies, from my sources, tell me, are the ones who created that article in the Yonkers Tribune, right? That's how they play. They fight dirty, and they will be fighting dirty this election. So will Breen be able to stand a chance? What about Devin? who will be managing Mike Breen's campaign, from what I hear. We'll see. The Tribune article paints him as an opportunist who has been milking the city. However, the same can be said about Nader Sayegh, who many say has milked the city and state as an assemblyman and holding various positions in the city of Yonkers. Is there going to be a red wave washing away the Democratic wins of last elections as the conflict in the Ukraine, right, have added to voters' worries and financial burdens? Is bad enough bail reform has been a failure, and Democrats are getting blamed for that. Now, will the crisis in the Ukraine and gas prices soaring affect the elections? Will that give the Republicans the momentum? Will the red wave carry them all the way through the victory line? We'll have to see, right? So, again, add to the soaring gas prices as Biden imposes heavy sanctions on Russia, sending prices to levels some have not seen ever in New York. Today, I paid $92 to fill up my tank. It's a car, not an SUV. It's not a truck, not a pickup truck, a car. $92. I paid $4.69 for a guy that was 93. I do put 93, right? So that's gas prices are up. Many are blaming the Democrats, right? Prices are so high. I'm seeing people who were calling for Trump's impeachment, calling for Trump to return. So will that give Mike Breen the necessary momentum to help him beat Nader? Or will he need more than that? Because after all, this is Yonkers. Breen has been a Republican leader. Breen has Republican leader, Devin O'Rourke running his campaign. And Nader Sayegh, well, he has none other than Mr. ABC from Precision Strategies, Sayegh Jarris. He will be managing, along with his son Frankie and the company Precision, 2 campaigns this election, that of Mike Breen's, as well as the judge Ada Medina, who recently announced that she had hired Precision to manage her campaign. But neither one have anyone in the primaries, and so far only Mike Breen seems to have an opponent in the general election. So Precision will primarily be focused on one election, and that is Mike Breen's. So you have something to worry there, Mike. All eyes are on you. All eyes are on you. Precision Strategies plays dirty. The Tribune article is proof of that. It's the same old playbook, and Breen is probably expecting it. I'm sure he is. Nader doesn't mind playing dirty he will do anything necessary to win, which is why he hired Precision Strategies to begin with, right? You want to win, you hire Precision Strategies. You hire Sayegh Jarris. They're known for winning. I've heard people say that those guys are geniuses when it comes to campaigns and elections. They win, but not all the time. Not all the time, because it was only last year that they lost in the Tim Hodges race. Some say he wasn't given the same attention, and maybe had he been, he would have won that as well, right? So Mr. ABC, or Sayegh Jarris, also known as Mr. ABC by very close insiders. You don't have to go back that far to an article in the Yonkers Times by Dan Murphy. The article was about last year's judges race. Dan Murphy wrote about the dynamics of the Democratic Party for Yonkers City Court. He wrote about negative campaigning and the return of Mr. Jarris, or Mr. ABC, to Yonkers politics. While the assembly seat is a state position, it is very much a Yonkers one as well. It covers all of Yonkers only, and you can find Mr. Sayegh in his office, dead smack in the middle of Getty Square, downtown Yonkers. The article mentions falsehoods and accusations thrown at Democratic nominees by Dan Romano, who had hired Precision Strategies, Sayegh Jarris, according to the article, to manage his campaign. And if you don't know, Dan won. Mr. Romano won. And the Amaranth campaign, which according to the Yonkers Times, managed by Sayegh Jarris and Precision Strategies, which are posted, goes with the. I'm sorry. What I'm going to say here is that article just goes to show, right? If you see the article in the Yonkers Tribune now about Mike Breen, you look at the article that was posted in the Yonkers Tribune back then last year, saying all these negative things about the Democratic Party, and that was according to the Yonkers Times, put out there by Sayegh Jarris and Dan Romano's campaign and Dan Romano himself. So you see a pattern there. Also with Mike Cater, there was that article in the Tribune, right, of the quid quo pro, which ultimately led to his downfall in politics. So we know who is controlling by now. You can piece it together. Who manipulates, controls, and dictates the Yonkers Tribune. That's a tool used by Precision Strategies, right, to attack their opponents. And it works well because people read that stuff. Very popular. And I want to go over the article there, Mike Breen, and read some of the comments in a bit, right? So the Times also mentions in the article that several Democrats had reached out to say that Mr. Jarris was leading an effort to take control of the Democratic Party. It wouldn't be the first time he took over a party. Sayegh Jarris was, after all, the chair of the Republican Party here in Yonkers, you know, the party that the Inspector General, Liam McLaughlin, belonged to. They were close buddies, right? So since Sayegh Jarris also manages Rubo, why would Liam McLaughlin ever investigate Rubo? They're old Republican buddies, all three of them. There's a lot more on Mr. Sayegh Jarris, from convictions to properties on Walnut illegally held by Mr. ABC. And that is the individual who will give Nader Sayegh directive. So can Devin handle Sayegh? Devin O'Rourke, would you be able to take on Sayegh and his tricks? You should probably know them well. He was, after all, a member of the Republican Party, just like you are, right? So maybe you have learned some of his stuff, and maybe you will be able to apply it yourself. It'll be an interesting race, and everyone will be watching, I'm sure, right? So will Sayegh's intentions within Yonkers politics and his past deter voters from choosing Nader Sayegh to remain in his seat comfortably until next year, when everyone knows it? He will throw his hat into the ring for mayor, because that's what everyone's really, really interested in. But it wouldn't be the first time that Nader Sayegh has thrown his hat into the ring for mayor. Back when he was in the Independence Party, he attempted to run for mayor. Unfortunately, he was caught lying, cheating, committing perjury in court. He lied in court and said he was the one that secured signatures, when in fact it was his brother who secured the signatures, who was the one that stood in front of the people and knocked on the door when they signed their names. People were scared. They didn't want to lie. They didn't know what was going on. I just want to go home and live my life. Putting people in the middle of that. Shame on you, Mr. Sayegh. Shame on you that you help the people. Help the people, not put them in jail. So, folks, which one is it? The incumbent, right? A lame duck who will sell out his vote up in Albany. He has done so before when it came to the religious exemption on the vaccine, right? And he also seeks special treatments, like the 1-year sentence he was able to secure for his brother, Dr. Sayegh, who was convicted of selling prescription pills, distributing them illegally. The damage that he's caused is probably yet to actually be measured, because when people have a connection like that, a doctor who's giving them prescription pills, and then that doctor gets arrested and the supply is cut off, they no longer have that supply, and many times they turn to heroin. Or they buy fake pills, which we've seen here in Yonkers a lot recently, that contain other things like fentanyl, and they overdose because the fake ones are probably cheaper, right? They're not real, so they're cheaper, so they go with that. And that has happened a lot of times when doctors who were the source of these pills for many people who were addicted ended up in jail. But they got more than a year, and they certainly served their entire time, or at least more than a year if they were given only a year. Mr. Sayegh's brother only did 8 months of that year. And I wonder if he has any guilt, right? Do you feel guilty about that? You see the people around your office who are addicted to drugs. Many people have died. Young people here in the city of Yonkers, young teenagers have died. Do you feel bad? Do you not feel an extra motivation to want to really address the drug addiction problem that Yonkers is facing? Because it is a crisis. Absolutely, it is a crisis. Just go on the Yonkers Voice. It was only last week. He was videotaping an individual in Getty Square, literally maybe about 100 feet away from your front door to your office. And he was obviously high and needed some help. You can watch the video if you didn't see it, if you weren't in your office. But all you had to do was walk right outside your door, right? He also lies. He was caught in court lying. A judge called him out on it. She said, you should know better. You're an attorney. Now you're seeking to become an elected official, and you're lying about signatures in court. Lying. And so is this an individual who we want in there? Right? He is going to be responsible for passing legislations up in Albany. And do we want someone who will easily sell out his vote? Or do we want Mike Breen? Right? The fully retired politician who needs a job, or his wife will kick him out. Right? Because we all know she wears the pants in the house. And if he doesn't bring an income, you're out of the door. I'm not going to be supporting you, old man. No way. Right? It's like the old FDR, right? His wife really runs the show, right? Except 1,000 times less harmless than Nader. Anyway, so yeah, who will it be? Will it be Mike Breen? Hasn't done a whole lot here for the city of Yonkers from his voting record, his track record, has enjoyed raising taxes on us, right? Joy's driving around in a car that the city gave him, doesn't even own a car from what I hear, has been milking the system or the city. Or do we choose Nader Sayegh, another individual who has been milking the city and state, another lame duck who hasn't done much, but we've seen his true character. We've seen him lie. We've seen him sell out his vote. And we see who he associates himself with. Convicted felons. Is that who we want to trust to make the votes for us up in Albany? I'll let you guys decide that when the time comes. I also wanted to mention before I go, I have mentioned, had an episode on abuse of power. I also had an episode on perks, privileges, and benefits. If you want to check that out, prior podcast. And when I discussed the elected officials and the benefits and the perks that they get. But what about businessmen? What about local area businessmen, well-established, well-connected, very friendly with elected officials who receive perks that are actually felonies if it were found out that that individual was receiving that perk? Well, Basement Politics was contacted, as we are usually contacted, and we were told of an individual who is taking advantage of a city perk, riding around with a Yonkers police plaque. But the individual is not a police officer. I don't think he ever has been. But he's enjoying the privilege of one. And I don't know if that's even a privilege that a police officer has. I think it's for official business only. But Basement Politics was notified. We were sent pictures. We have them. Is that okay? Can I get a plaque? Can I get a plaque? I get a lot of tickets. Can I get a plaque? I'm a businessman too, in Yonkers. Well, folks, that's it for me for Basement Politics here. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I know this was a short one, but I just wanted to go over this race because I'm hearing a lot about it. Everyone's talking. This is a race to keep your eyes on, folks. But do we really have two candidates that are really, it's going to be really the lesser of two evils here. And you're going to have to decide, vote on people's track record. Try to find something. I know I've tried. I didn't really see much. It's not a whole lot on the track records. Nothing that stands out that's just like, wow, guy did a great job. Got to make sure he stays there. Nothing. Nothing at all. Individuals that lie, do we want that? Do we want elected officials who are known to lie in court? Who hire individuals like Mr. ABC? And by the way, why is he running that judge's race? I just don't understand what's going on. There's no need to run that race. I don't know. Anyone help me with that one? I don't know. But anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. That's it for me tonight. Make sure you do go out and vote. Make sure you get to know the candidates. And if you are anyone interested in in running for office, hey, there's people out there looking for people. And by the way, I did have the Dare to Share contest. I didn't forget about that. However, I did notice that some people have shared the podcast, but maybe because we're not friends on Facebook, I can't see who it is. So I want it to be fair. So if you did share the podcast, please let me know. Reach out to me because I want to make sure that, so I'm going to give it to the end of this week, to Friday, and I will announce it on Friday. But if you do share or have shared, please let me know. I see that people have shared, but I can't see who because of your settings, your privacy settings, maybe. So, if we're not friends and you have a certain privacy setting, you can share the podcast because the Basement Politics page is public, but me as the administrator, my page isn't, and so I can't see it. So let me know if you have. I want to be fair. I want to make sure that if you have been sharing, that I take that into account. So I will announce that Friday. Please don't forget to do that. Thank you for joining me, folks. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the comments. Everyone who's commented me, tagged me in comments recently. I appreciate your comments. I really do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So enjoy your night. Have a good Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. I will be back on. We'll discuss the Yonkers City Council meeting. Let's talk about it. Enjoy your night. I'm Freddie Vasquez, and I hope you like the new.
Let's get it popping.
I am Freddie Vasquez. That was Basement Politics Unfiltered. Breen versus Nader. Who will you choose in the race for Assembly District 90? Mike Breen is being managed, I should say, campaigns being managed by Devin O'Rourke. For Nader Sage, we have Precision Strategies. Sayegh Jarris and Frankie Jarris, political geniuses, according to some insiders. They never lose. Actually, you know what? I wanted to actually go over. Let's stop that. I did want to go over something really quick. I'm going to share this. I almost forgot to include it. I wanted to just go over this article in the Yonkers Tribune because I wanted to go over the comments. I think it's very interesting. The comments. I like to get a feel for what people are saying, right? And the comments where people can be anonymous, you can get a good feel for it. Although sometimes people get silly. I don't always know how real those comments are. But I do want to just kind of talk about that. If I can find that article here. Sage. Thought I had it there. Had it somewhere. Oh, I'm just bad like that with stuff. I'm so like I do a lot. I do a lot. I got a lot. I try to squeeze this in, doing the podcast and stuff. I got a lot going on. That's why I'm not able to always come on at 8, which I really would love to come on at 8. I apologize, but it happens. But anyway, I'm here on the Yonkers Tribune. I'm going to share this. I wanted to go over an article that he had here and go over the comments because I find them to be very interesting. I really do. Sometimes entertaining, but definitely interesting. And I don't know if you've been on the Yonkers Tribune recently. And here's the Mike Breen here. Mike Breen, yesterday morning at at Dunwoody Golf Club, Yonkers City Council Minority Leader Mike Breen announced to a packed house of supporters. Check it out. Packed house of supporters. All right, go Breen. All right, to gather crowd. He was running for, supporters that he will be seeking the New York State Assembly seat in the 90th District. Breen told the gathered crowd he was running because Albany has turned its back on the needs of ordinary families. Breen noted that a councilman for 10 plus years, he hears every day the frustration of residents. As you didn't care about mine, Breen. You really didn't care about mine, Breen. As a councilman, you can only ask your state representatives to carry a message, but sadly, either the message is not being communicated or Albany is deaf or just plain indifferent to us. Breen stated, I have a loud voice. So your wife has a louder one. I have a loud voice. So believe me, when I get to Albany, they will hear me. Better not be over, shadowed or drowned out by your wife screaming back there. Take it Albany with you. I intend to be the voice for families who every morning get ready for their day, going to work or school, going about their lives. And every day we have politicians in Albany failing all of us, acting like our state is their kingdom and our voices don't matter. That sounds like Yonkers, not Albany. Probably there too, although we live here in Yonkers. It's high time concerns of residents are addressed. Mike Breen noted crime is raging everywhere as criminals are coddled, yet Albany refuses to enact desperately needed bail reform. So you see, they're going to attack this bail reform stuff. That's going to be big. That's why we're talking about the whole Republican red wave, right? You got the whole bail reform failure, and it is, folks. Come on. I mean, it is. And again, I spoke about this yesterday. It's not about the laws. It's about the people who are applying the laws. Those are the individuals we have to change, right? Because some of them are racist. They have agendas. Those are the individuals that have to change. Anyway, Breen, as a father of 2 children who are police officers, I know firsthand the dangers of their job. Many politicians in Albany want to defund the police. They point fingers. They blame our police for their bad policies. It's time Albany came to its senses and stood up for our men and women in blue. And I support the police. I definitely do. Shout out to Yonkers Police Department. Be safe out there, guys, tonight. Our police put their lives on the line every day to protect us. Dangerous criminals should not be let loose to commit crimes again. This makes no sense. We need bail reform, and we need it now. New York taxes are skyrocketing. You're part of the raising of taxes, if you ask people. Costly inflation is choking off economic growth, pushing our families, small businesses to the brink. Well, you can help me by helping me with my permit, but you didn't. My business was at the brink. Hundreds of thousands of fed up New Yorkers have already fled the state. These high taxes hit hardest our seniors and folks on fixed incomes who are forced to move away, leaving families and grandkids behind. Breen promised that he is going to fight hard to restore normalcy and bring back taxing common sense to our state. I'd like to see that. Breen went on to express his concern about Albany's latest reckless scheme, which is planned to take over of local zoning. And I just told you about that, and they've done the redistricting and all that. This disastrous plan would compel, they're talking about the zoning where they were going to allow multifamilies, they were going to eliminate single family zones. So you could do whatever in a single family, multifamily. It was going to be crazy. I do agree with that, Breen. Good job on that one. The disastrous plan would compel local municipalities to expand the use of accessory residents such as apartments on single family properties. These bills will harm our neighborhoods by worsening parking problems and straining local services, including sewer and water facilities, while eliminating our local control of zoning. I'll tell Albany loud and clear to keep their hands off our neighborhoods. You forgot to say it'll bring crime and unwanted people because that's what you wanted to say. Okay. Breen concluded, I'm running for state assembly because I am confident I can get things done. So was Nader. I know how to listen, and I have proven record of working in a bipartisan manner to get results. And that's what I intend to do when elected to the assembly. Yes, you have. You have a proven record of working in a bipartisan manner here in the city of Yonkers. You all in cahoots, all of you, Democrats, Republican. I'm surprised you didn't switch over to Democrat. Let's go over some of the comments. Breen noted that as a councilman for 10 plus years, he hears every day the frustrations of residents. This is a comment someone was just quoting. Breen hears the frustrations of residents that he raises taxes on to fund his lavish lifestyle, complete with a city vehicle with free gas and insurance. See, that gas thing in the Yonkers Tribune, that article where he talked about the gas, that really got people pissed off because you see, it's a very smart marketing tactic, right? Very smart. Maybe Sayegh, you are a genius, very smart. Frankie whoever one of you came up with it, very smart, because you're going to attack something that people are currently having to deal with and are talking about it, right? Everyone's talking about gas prices being sky high. I even put a post about it. So that's something that's going to hit us right away. So when you say Mike Breen, he's got a city car and he's getting free gas while all of us are having to deal with these high prices, on gases, which were, Biden sanctioned. He is a Democrat. I mean, come on, but anyway, so they're trying to make you kind of feel that, oh yeah, screw Mike. How does he get free gas? And he gets a free car and I got to pay these high prices now. It's crazy. It's killing me. It's not fair. I hate him. I'm going to vote him out or whatever. Right? So that's smart. That's what they do. Breen has been in office for 10 years and has accomplished nothing, but neither has Nader, or advanced any policy to anyone's benefit except giving himself another term. Well, he advanced something, right? He advanced himself. He does, right, is what you said, I guess. He doesn't get that they're frustrated with him. Well, he also advanced other people too. Corazon took advantage of that. Corazon Pineda, as well as the mayor. Sayegh will give him the reality check he so urgently needs. Yeah, right. And that's probably coming from Sage's campaign. Breen is a corrupt liar and fraud. He will lose. Again, that's probably coming from the Nader Sayegh campaign. There'll be a blitzkrieg of lawn signs for Nader Sage's opponent in North Yonkers, a.k.a. The Hill. Political payback is coming in election cycle 2022. Does anybody know what that means? I'm not sure what they're trying to say there. Fact, Nader Sayegh received the highest ever vote total in district history in 2020. Fact, he carried Mike Breen's district. He'll win yours too. Fact, he's your assemblyman and he will be your mayor next year. Oh, snaps. I don't think so. But I like the reply to that. Fact, this is the biggest threat Nader has received. Fact, let's see if Jarris and company walk away like they did when Cater was going down. Fact, he won't win a Dem primary for mayor. Let's talk about Nader. There is no such place as the Hill because it's all downhill. He got all those votes against no opponents in the highest voter participation election in history. Yeah, that seems to be a common thing here. People just kind of skate right into their position. And again, that's because some people are just afraid to go against, Sayegh Jarris and guys like that. His whole precision strategy. They don't want to have an article in the Tribune about them, right? People don't want that. They don't want those problems. This matchup will be competitive in election year 2022. The potential for a tight race and one to watch. You see, so this is one to watch. People are talking about it. A lot of people, from what I'm hearing from sources, want Nader to lose, not only because they just don't think Nader's the guy anymore and he's done. They want him out of politics, but also they want precision strategies, Mr. ABC, out of politics. That's what the consensus is. Nader will never be mayor. He better be lucky he wins this race. The pain is coming. What pain is that? Is that like is that physical pain or just, heartache? I lost. Mike Breen starts out with a campaign of lies to hide his 10-year record of voting for every Yonkers property tax increase, while Nader Sayegh was at the state capitol voting to cut state income taxes, cut for working families. Nader fought against the state mandating zoning changes and fact-checked Mr. Breen. Did he? The proposal was dropped. The city of Yonkers has the highest gross receipts tax on utility bills of any community in Westchester. What has the councilman done about that? Right, and it's going to go up. And you know why? Because all these developments that are coming in, folks, what I keep saying, they're going to use up a lot of these utilities. And they're not paying the property taxes, right? Because the tenants are renters. And then the developers are getting tax breaks. I mean, so who's going to make up for the difference? Think about that. You're worried about New York City subway crime? That's good. But Nader is doing something about crime in Yonkers. What? What is he doing? Jesus, what is he doing? I mean, really? Please, I've asked people to tell me what these individuals are doing. Now, one person has responded. Now, one with something. Shut me down. Right? Shut me down. I want you to. Shut me down. That's good, but Nader's doing something about crime, funding programs to stop gun violence. Right. Giving more money to the YMCA is not going to stop gun violence. I don't care what you say. Getting $100,000 in state aid to help Yonkers police officers to deal with mentally ill individuals. Yeah, how so? Tasers instead of bullets? Just kidding, Kyle. Just kidding, YPD. I'm speaking in general throughout the country. Right, not here in Yonkers. And it's an outright lie that he voted for 50A on sealing police records. He did not. Here's the playbook, everyone. Everyone knows Sayegh and Nader are very close. You can find them dining out together in the county almost every evening. Knowing Zahe's relationship with Spano, it would appear odd that a Spano-controlled lackey like Breen would challenge Nader. But the Spanos want Breen's council seat for someone with a Spano last name. But it doesn't matter. Well, I guess if he wins, yeah, then it'll go, but so they've promised him that if he and his is the lamb to the slaughter. Oh, I gotcha. Well, against Nader, that he will be rewarded with a cushy appointed city job to round out his pension. And for Fat Breen, if it beats selling hot dogs. It's messed up, man. This hot dog joke. I've been hearing about it now. The only problem for Nader is he fancies himself the next mayor of Yonkers. So does everyone else on the council. But I have a feeling the Spanos will not go for this, no matter what they say now. So all continues to be well in the city of Hills, where nothing is on the level. And by the way, I learned that from Alberto Velasquez. He taught me that over dinner one time. Make a high school requirement. And that's the end of the Spano regime. Folks, I am Freddie Vasquez. Those are the comments by people in the city of Yonkers. Some of them probably by Nader Sage's campaign members or people. Sounds like it. But that's what people are saying here in the city of Yonkers. It's going to be an interesting race. I'll be covering it for show. For show, I will be definitely covering it. So stay tuned and stick around and, make sure you watch Basement Politics. I appreciate all those that have been watching. The views are crazy now. Thank you so much. And again, I do this for the city. I do this for the people in the city. I don't do this for money. I don't get nothing out of this. I really don't. Okay. I don't, absolutely not. Okay. I do this for the people in the city. And I just want to keep stressing that because I don't want you folks being mad at me. All right. I'm sorry. Like my daughter made this for me. I wear her jewelry. I support my daughter. You gotta support your kids, and I wear it with no shame. Got a little heart or butterfly. I love my daughter. But anyway, folks, I do this for you guys, for the people in the city of Yonkers. I may not always get it right, but my intentions are good. And I try to get it right. And I try to correct myself if I get it wrong. Right. But I'm here for the people. I'm here for the change. Folks, thank you for watching. I am Freddie Vasquez. Buenos noches. And until tomorrow, I'll see you then. Take care. Thank you, folks, for watching Basement Politics. Thank you for watching. If you're watching tomorrow, good afternoon, good morning, good day. I am Freddie Vasquez. That was Basement Politics episode. Mike Breen versus Nader Sage, Republican versus Democrat. Check me out in the pool there. I love it. Can't wait. Get back down. Anyway, that was my show for the night. Thank you so much. Tune in tomorrow night. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email me at politicwithfred@gmail.com. Let me know what you want to hear. Is there any particular story you'd like me to cover? Please, I welcome it. I love to hear it. Until then, take care. Ready.